In this video, we're gonna show you 3 more Zentangle-inspired patterns that you can do. Hello everyone, my name is Ingrid from My Inner Palette, and this is Oslo from My Inner Palette as well. Today we're gonna show you part 3 on how to make 3 more different Zentangle-inspired patterns that you can do on your own time. The materials that you're going to be needing for this practice, as always, you just need a sketchbook or a blank piece of paper, and then you need a pigment liner, or it could be a Sharpie, whatever you have on hand. Oslo? Do you think that we're ready? Is everyone ready? Come here. Do you think that everyone's ready? I think that everyone's ready to do the Zentangles. What do you think? Yes, let's go for it.
This first pattern is quite simple. We are gonna start with a straight horizontal line, splitting the square in twos right in the middle, and then we're gonna do a vertical line doing the same. So you're gonna have 4 squares relatively the same size within the big square. Then from the center of the intersection of these 2 lines, the idea is that you pick one of the 4 squares and start drawing radial lines that are going from the center towards the edges of the square. Here I would like you to focus on doing this practice as slow as possible. If your lines are not straight enough, don't worry about it. That's not the point of the exercise. It's just drawing them and just being present. It's like be the line in a way. And sometimes in life we go in ups and downs. We're never on a straight line, so it's completely fine if they're not straight enough. Perhaps just observe your thoughts and think, if you were that center, how is it that you are irradiating your energy every day? Where are you focusing on? Because where we focus on is where energy flows. So the more thoughts that you put into external things, the more that you're going to be focusing on the outside world. And sometimes the more that you're going to be focusing on worries, challenges, what's not going right, So in this case, just try to think, what is it that you focus on every day? What are those thoughts? Is there a way that you can give them less energy and focus on something different, something that might not bring you worries? It's okay to think about external things, but just remember that if you're spending all your waking life focusing on something external, what you're forgetting about, which is very, very highly important and valuable, it's yourself. You're not focusing on yourself, you're focusing outside. So here's where practicing mindfulness, meditation, and different practices like this with art will help you to start focusing once more in yourself. Now that we've been drawing radial lines from the center to the edges of the squares in 2 squares, now we're gonna start the other way around. We're gonna start drawing radial lines, but from one of the corners of the bigger square, and then we're gonna go to the edges of that smaller square, but going more inwards. So in this part of the activity, I would like you to think and focus on yourself and how important you are. The fact that you're here, there's no one else like you in this world. You have gifts that perhaps look similar to the gifts other people may have, but they're never equal as someone else's gifts. And I would like you to remember that. You are important. You are lovable. You are capable. You are valuable. And you, my dear, are the main character of your own life. You're not a secondary character, and never forget that. Your life is important. And sometimes we might forget about it, so this is me reminding you of how important you are in this world. Now that we're bringing the attention inwards, what are the thoughts that you can focus on that would bring you peace, that will bring you joy, that will make your life feel joyous and worth living? If you're finding a bit difficult to think of what are those thoughts that you could focus on to bring more happiness to your life, more abundance, I might leave some here that you can repeat to yourself. I am worthy. I am successful. I am blessed. I am a blessing. I am strong. I am rich. I am loved. I am grateful. I am breathing in relaxation. I am peaceful. I am capable. I am loyal. And I am immensely creative. If you have any other affirmations to share, please do so in the comments and share with the community. There might be someone out there that might need the specific affirmation, and if you leave it in the comments, they might be able to read it. For our next pattern, we're gonna be working with waves. Life, in a way, and I found it this way, is never linear. There's always ups and downs, and I was mentioning this before, but it's how we approach the ups and downs what gets us to live in a happy life, no matter how challenging things can be at times in our lives. We've been taught that a perfect life looks a certain way. This might be different culture to culture, country to country, right? Or even family to family. But there's certain belief behind what makes a happy life. And no matter what is your belief of what happy means, I would like you to know that even when we're going through challenges, we can still try and make the most out of any situation that we're facing. When we're able to find a little bit, a glimpse of hope sometimes, a little bit of light in a situation, we can try to bring some joy into our lives even when we're struggling or we've been challenged by something that it was unexpected and that we might have thought to ourselves that this is a bad thing. What is good? What is bad? Why can't we just say it is what it is and I'll deal with it the best I can? And this might look completely different from one or another person. Sometimes one person might consider that one thing is good, and another person looking at the same situation from a different angle might consider this bad. I give you an example. Someone being fired or made redundant from their job might think this is the end of the world. How am I gonna sustain my family? How am I gonna pay the bills? But perhaps this job for another person, or the same person but looking at it from a different perspective, might be that they actually hated the job. They didn't like what they were doing, and being made redundant in that way will allow them to reinvent themselves, to tap into what they actually would like to be doing, and create a different life for them, something that they enjoy doing every day. And here is where, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. I really don't know. What I know is that it is. And by knowing that something is, then we can make a more conscious choice on how are we going to approach it. And when we make a conscious decision on how to approach anything in life, then we hold the power to create a life that is more joyous and more enjoyable, in spite of all the challenges that we may be facing. You can choose in what to focus on, what you think that is negative, or what are the opportunities of the situation. We never know what others might be struggling with or being challenged with. So here is where being honorable to one another, even if we don't know each other, it's so important. You could make a difference in someone's day or life, even if you're showing them a hand rather than a slap in the face. Sometimes people go around being angry at each other, and the fact that someone is angry at you for no reason, you might react, mirroring that angriness. But sometimes we just need to let it go. If someone's angry, it's up to them to sort out their anger. Don't let it get to your energy. Just let it go. Because the next person that you encounter, you might be angry already and snap at them for no reason. And sometimes just being more cheerful might mean that the other person says like, hey, they opened the door for me. Hey, this person, I dropped my wallet, they returned it to me. In a way, you're paying it forward, right? And most importantly, when you're being kind to others, remember to be kind to yourself as well. And let that judgment fade. If you're even judging yourself for being angry, perhaps ask yourself, what is it that this anger is showing in me? And that might be a way for you to start understanding where that anger comes from. It might not even be from you. It might be something that you picked up even when you were a child. And as we jump into our last pattern, as we're gonna start working from the base up, I would like you to look into this pattern as building blocks. Foundations are important in life because it depends on what we put as foundations, what we're gonna be harvesting later on. So this connects to what I was just saying before. If you go through life angry at everyone and that's what you're showing, that's most likely to be your foundation. So if your foundation is being angry, people will reflect that to you. Now, on the opposite side, if your foundations are of honorability, happiness, the enjoyment of life, and those type of things, then that's what's gonna start reflecting as well from other people to you. So take a moment here to think, what are your foundations? What are the emotional foundations in which you're acting or reacting every day? Are you acting from a place of fear, anger, frustration, sadness perhaps, or even guilt? I didn't do this and they were expecting me to do XYZ, right? Or are you feeling mostly emotions like happiness, joy, gratitude, love to you and to others? Whatever stage you are in life at this point, don't judge it. Just observe. If you're in the frustration side of the spectrum, it's fine. The idea is that we observe the emotions, that we're able to understand where they're coming from so we can actually release them and start moving to the other side of the spectrum. If you're thinking that you're never gonna be able to release the lower vibrational emotions like anger, sadness, guilt, fear, you're not alone. But I want you to know that it is very possible to do. For now, I would like you to observe and recognize which are the emotions that you are vibrating with more during your day. This is the first step, just the realization that you are vibrating with a certain emotion most of the day. Once you've done that, then you can identify the opposite emotion. Let's say, if you're feeling sad and the other side of the spectrum is happiness, it seems like very far away to get there, right? And I've been there. But what I can tell you is that you can start thinking, what are the things, little things, they don't need to be big gestures, little things that make you feel happy. Perhaps eating an ice cream could be one. If you love ice creams, sure, go and have an ice cream. If it's going out for a walk in the sun, go for the walk. Perhaps connecting with nature, hearing the trees, how they move in the wind. And the sound they make is so lovely to me. But think about things that make you happy. And if for any reason you are unable to go and do a small action that might bring you a little bit of happiness, try to close your eyes and envision yourself doing that action. And while you do so, try the best to tap into that emotion of eating the ice cream or the sun on your face while you're walking on the beach. Whatever it is that takes you out of that sadness, even if it's for a couple of seconds. That is the second step. And the more you recognize the emotions, the more you observe what you're feeling, the easier it will get in time to start doing those small actions to counterbalance that emotion that vibrates lower. Another example of emotion might be that you're vibrating mostly in fear. If this is the case, you might find yourself trying to control every single aspect of your life. And this is because you're afraid of losing the control. You're afraid that if things are not done a certain way, the whole world is gonna collapse. I know it sounds very dramatic, but in our brain, that's what we're thinking. We're thinking, shit, things are gonna collapse. My world is gonna shatter. I'm gonna die. And this is why I have the need to control everything. Everything has to be a specific way. Everyone has to do things in a very particular way. And living with fear is not fun, right? So what would be an emotion that could counterbalance this one? The control, the fear. In this case, I would say freedom. The freedom, letting go of things, letting go of the perfectionism, letting go of controlling every single aspect. How do you tap to freedom? That would be the second step, right? And how do we get there? Well, perhaps it might be going in a road that you have never been. Instead of doing the normal route from work to home, perhaps one day you turn in a street that you don't know and see what happens. Perhaps you might find a beautiful park, or you might find yourself in a part of the city that you didn't know, and you might find nothing exciting at all about doing that turn, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is that you're letting that control fade away. And if you've done that, congratulate yourself. Love yourself for doing it, for putting yourself out there and doing something different this time. I would like to share with you that I'm feeling very grateful for your presence here today. If you have enjoyed this video so far, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel, leaving a comment. I love the comments, I have to say. It warms my heart every time I see a comment, and I rush through to reply to the comments that everyone is leaving there. So thank you very much for being here today with me, and congratulate yourself once more, because you have been here, you're present, and remember that you are lovable, you are important, and that you are, my lovelies, the main character of your own life. And if you would like to see Oslo again, make sure you stay until the end of this video, because it's there to give you some more encouragement as well. If you would like to see part 1 and part 2 of these Zentangle-inspired patterns, I'm gonna leave the links in the description box for you, and I'm also gonna share them here on the screen. And now I just want to overshare a little bit about my experience with Oslo.
Having Oslo in my life has been a blessing. He is always helping me to keep my mental health in check. And whenever I'm feeling too stressed, apart from doing doodles and painting and all the type of things, I also go on a lot of walks with him. And it's always good to get some fresh air, isn't it? Chase some sticks, getting into the beach, Uppsala, in the park, and the sticks, and you get some tricks. And you're definitely gonna get some treats after this, I promise. Yes, you will. So if you don't have a dog at home, I highly recommend that you get a friend with dogs. And then you can do the same. You can just borrow them, because to be honest, sometimes even dog owners, I don't even like to see myself as an owner of a dog. It's more of a companionship. So if you don't have a dog in your life, I highly recommend that you get a friend with dogs. So then you can even go on walks with them, or you can ask them to borrow your dog for a little bit, because they're always happy to be outside and playing. And it's a very good reminder of connecting to our inner child sometimes, that we forget so easily, don't we? You never do. You never do. Oh, it's just getting into cuddle now. So just a reminder of connecting with your inner child. Go outside, have fun, because life is too short to be worrying all the time. We can worry, but then we can just forget about it as well, right? So I highly recommend that. If you have enjoyed this video and the company of Oslo as well throughout the video, remember to give a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and we are gonna be super happy to see you next time. Bye. Say bye. High five. High five also. High five. Good job. Yes, you good boy. Another one. Good boy. Bye.